No, no, yeah, no, 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 yeah, no, no,
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Trey and Ziggie podcast. I'm Ziggie.
I'm King Trey.
And today we are going to talk about something very, very special. Oh, Roxy, why are you... Roxy is feeling some type of way because we are talking and not like cuddling with her right now. But she'll be fine.
She's sleepy.
Yeah. I know it's late.
What we talking about, woman?
Okay, we are talking about Trey's birthday in a few days.
A couple of days.
Yep. When this podcast gets released, which, tune in to our podcast every Wednesday. Plug moment. But Trey's birthday is on Thursday, so by the time you hear this, it'll be a day before Trey's birthday if you're listening on Wednesday. If you are late to the party and listen afterwards, then...
Give me a cash app, $100.
What's your cash app?
It is Get Money 24/7. You gotta remember the cash app sign before.
Okay, that's not his real cash app, but
we put it in the what do they say?
In the show notes. In the show notes. But yeah, it's his birthday and he is turning 28 years old. How do you feel?
First of all, why you have to say my age like that?
What?
You know, with women, they don't say. What are you doing?
You talking right there in the mic.
Wait,
side of the mic.
what side?
It's clear on the side.
Okay, thank you.
It's a condenser mic.
When women say their birthday coming up, we don't just blurt out their age. I'm not insecure about my age either. But anyways.
It's not my age.
What's your age?
29.
Yes, she is older than me.
I just turned 29 in December.
Happy belated birthday.
So we're pretty cool because we get to celebrate a birthday in December, and then celebrate King Trey's birthday in January.
And then after that, we get the rest of the year out the way for everybody else. So, but turned 28. I don't know. I feel good. Still feel healthy like I was 25. Not having big problems or anything. But turned 28. Just bigger goals to set for myself and to be a better person. That's all I try to aim for. I don't have no what's the thing called at the beginning of the year?
New Year resolutions.
Do people still do those, or do they just do a vision board?
They do both. So, it's kind of interesting because sometimes people, they don't wait for like the beginning of the year to set their year goals. But Trey's birthday is at the beginning of the year already, so it's like
Right.
it's technically it's like the new year, and it's also a new year for him. So it's like he doubles down. He doesn't have to choose the day to start over.
But I honestly, ever since the year started, this is probably my first year hearing this. Your mother mentioned it, and my cousin mentioned it. Shout out to Brianna. That people, cousin Bree, that people actually do vision boards at the beginning of the year, and I think when you put vision board over it, then your New Year's resolution, then it's more like the vision. I think your New Year resolution has a little bit more like weight to it, or it's like, well, if you don't accomplish it, then you didn't actually meet it. But I think a vision board is pretty much a lot of stuff that you want just to accomplish. It could be numerous of things, just like your New Year's resolution can be numerous of things. But when you do a resolution, it's kind of like resolution word as makes them. When you have a resolution, that's when you change. I feel like you don't need to change as a person every year. You just if anything, change for the better. But if you're a good person, you don't. Well, how much do you need to change?
Well, I think the whole point of setting a New Year's resolution, which I don't typically do, I don't routinely do it every year. I just feel like as a business owner, since I bought my LLC in 2020, well, I was gifted it. Thanks, mom.
Shout out to mom.
Shout out to mom. But as I feel like as a business owner, or as the creative, like trying to get things done and put things out into the world, it's like a time to reflect and think about what are my goals for this year and what are my like, how can I level up? Like I'm already doing good. I'm already like, I'm proud of myself, who I am, what I've accomplished, but how can I like take it further? So I feel like that's all the resolutions are supposed to be. Now, I know people have like weight goals or like they do, maybe they want a different job or like change their hair color, something like that.
Which is the stereotypical the weight goal and stuff like that. It's the the same thing people repeat over and over every year.
That's why gyms have all those specials at the beginning of the year. They still do that.
Don't deposit down. Just sign up your email and put a credit card down. And you can put 8 people on your thing so they can reach out to your friends.
Yeah. You tell your friends to give them my friends.
Man, that's an outside. We can be. Is that all right?
Yeah, but some of my resolutions, which I posted it on one of my, I guess a couple of my social medias, but like I think it was under my business page, Victor Media Pro, on Facebook and Instagram. Follow me, I'll follow back. Another plug. But well, my goals for this year are to be more consistent with producing content like this, like the podcast. We want this to be something special that the both of us that we can do together. But we also want to, to have something fun to do. And we already have fun things to do. But
I'm about to say that. Don't make people feel like we over here like down and out in our relationship now. We have fun just what happens is that we have a shared space of fun, but then we have our own space of fun. Like my space is more like the PlayStation, other things. I don't know, people listening to this. Anyways, but I have sports, basketball, football, running, whatever. That's my fun ideas and stuff like that. And her, what's your ideas of fun? Your own space.
Anything crafty and artsy and musical. So I recently started a Twitch channel. And I'm of the makers and crafting genre, or the arts and creative genre, or whatever it's called on there. But I think accountability, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So Twitch, it kind of holds you accountable because it's like you have people on there that just watch you stream or chat with you. But there's also other people who stream on there. You can watch what they're doing, and it's kind of motivating you to do stuff. And I have all of these. I said this on my Twitch channel earlier, but I have a lot of supplies, like art supplies, or like these bottles that I upcycle bottles. So I paint them, I decorate them. But I'm trying to get it all done so I can sell it. I've been wanting to do a craft fair for a while, but like an arts market, or be a vendor at an event or something and sell. Which I was kind of skeptical about because of COVID. Before the holiday season, I was going to register for several of them because the fall and the holidays, those are like big times for people who make crafts and do those types of things. But I didn't really feel all that safe doing it. But I do want to start an Etsy shop so I can have it listed somewhere, at least all in one place, and not just like post it on my Instagram. Like if it's on Instagram, I just want to link it out to my Etsy page or something. I think that'll like keep it all organized. And I feel like it's gonna be a great year for creativity and positivity, and I just want to have even more fun this year. Like we got married in September, and so we're officially married, but we do have our reception this October. So we're gonna be planning that, which I mean it's almost done with the planning. Like we're almost done, but it's just like key things that we need. Like
Yeah.
we we're just getting like DJ, day of coordinator, a cake. We have the dessert table or whatever. We're gonna decide on that. Um, and then like organize like the first dance, the family dances and stuff. Things you want to have at your wedding reception.
But one thing about it is that as we speak, we might not know what we might be actually doing in October because the things are the way things are going. It's just like you really don't know what to expect. We might be able to get another shot that let us be able to walk around. But how many shots do we actually gonna have to have until either this thing is over or it's done? Because there's just so many shots you can just give people. First it was 2 shots, now it's a booster shot. And I'm not complaining about the shots, but it's just the fact that like
How many do we need?
Yeah.
So we're okay.
yeah, honestly, or you could just do what we're supposed to do, is just stay in. But but that's just speaking like for October. I'm talking about even for two days from now, my birthday on January 20th. That I don't know what I might be doing for my birthday. I don't know if I'm doing something Thursday, doing something the weekend. I know what I might be doing if I do something, but as if what we're gonna be actually doing, it could be from a Zoom call to probably having a small gathering. I really don't know. But usually it's easy to plan for everybody else's birthday.
Yeah.
It's easy because you're not worried about like you when you plan for other people's birthdays. You're like more like, oh, this person's gonna be happy if I do this. Oh, this person's gonna be happy if I do this. I'm gonna get this because I know her. But when it's you, you're like, well, what do you do for yourself? Because you've been doing your birthday every year yourself. You've been with your it's your birthday. But it's like I feel like the more you get older, we talked about this earlier, like people people are getting older too and they have their own life. And like you gotta there's I feel like for the lucky ones, they probably can have up to 12 friends, whatever they want at their dispense, But, like everybody like me, you might have a good handful. And that's probably still like, that's not even, you still can't probably, depend on all 5 at certain times. Probably just 1 or 2 you could probably depend on, just for little things, not even talking about like money or anything. Talking about like just any little thing, a favor or anything. Just so like I might just have a few friends over and kick it, lay back, sit back, probably drink a little, and probably watch a movie or just dominoes.
Ooh. Yeah, if we're gonna, we should do some kind of game night thing. We would definitely have to like, I don't know, probably clear the dining room table maybe.
I mean, we can.
I don't know.
But
It's become my arts and crafts.
Yeah, she
office.
over the living room.
Yeah, well, just the dining room. I mean, I think we're gonna try to move that stuff into the dining room too, so it can all be in one central area because we got plans to decorate this apartment.
Yeah, we finally depend on we renewed our lease.
Yep.
And we here for another year. Yeah. And it's so funny we still haven't actually paid our rent from December because the system is still down.
Well, I gave him a
but still we still haven't technically speaking we still haven't paid because they just took everybody's money and it was like they was telling us something they were talking about actually pay what you usually pay. But we went through a system where we have rental assistance, and we actually only supposed to pay like what 35% of the actual rent. But they told us, well, pay what you usually pay, and the usual is like way more than that. So it's kind of like they just want our money, and they just store it away in our little, I don't know, our apartment box, and then they go, I don't know, it's almost January 20th. I mean, shoot, we almost about to get our first check of the month already. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, usually that doesn't happen at all. You know, luckily, and there were some situations probably was a blessing for some people, because some people really needed to wait till, the 21st.
Yeah.
You know, but us, we don't like that because, well, I don't know.
It just kind of it makes us a little bit antsy because we can't check online to see what our balance is for rent, for utilities. Like they sent us the utility. I think because it's a third party for the utility company, so we can know how much we owe in utilities. But they said when we signed our lease, our rent went up. So we're trying to calculate it, make sure it's cool.
And also, I don't want them to be like, because this, like she just said, our leases just went up. And the one thing we don't want to happen is that they're like, well, last month lease is on the next month lease. So now we pay double the lease. And then technically speaking, like I told you before, we are supposed to pay all of it. So let's say, for example, our rent for 1 month is probably what, $800. But if we're not supposed to pay that $800, let's say we're supposed to pay only $200 of that dollars, but they don't know that, and it goes on to the next month. Now they're gonna double it. It's gonna be $800 from last month at $800. But that money should be still in our account. That money should be regardless of our account. Right?
Yeah.
So hopefully that's just gonna wipe that out when it actually gets sorted out. But man, y'all know how these apartments are. Shout out to the people that still live in apartments. The struggles is real. Depends on what apartments. I think in majority apartments are like that. They like, man, but like the cheaper your apartments are, like people move into Houston, like, man, these prices are cheap, but man, you never know who you have to deal with above you, below you, to the side of you, and people can complain about anything from children. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we talk about this all the time. But Lord, man. But yeah, man, people have lives going on. Everybody got other bills to pay for. And the last thing they want to be worried about is having to pay for rent in the middle of January. Also paying for what? Because usually everybody else pay for in the middle of the rent. What we usually have to pay for is like insurance and like all that other extra bills.
Yeah, we got a lot of other bills to pay. We don't want to be worried about rent still.
Facts.
Like, because this is the system. Like, you pay your rent at the beginning of the month, then you got other bills to pay throughout the month that aren't as hefty, because rent is like the biggest bill that we have right now. Unless, yeah, for y'all who have been blessed with Bugattis and other luxury cars and awesome sports cars, but we don't have all that. So, and the thing that's concerning is because it's a new management, and it started like the beginning of the year. Like, we didn't get any warning from the old management or the new management. We just had to find out. And these people keep parking in our parking spot.
I was just thinking about that.
And Trey has been going head to head with these office people.
Hey, honestly, I feel like if you have an apartment complex that you pay for a parking spot, you pay every month for this parking spot. If somebody parking your parking spot, that should be your personal property, and you should be able to do whatever you want to that car that's in your parking spot. And it's like, me personally, I don't really trip about people that park in my spot, especially if the car is not even here, because that parking spot is just a lot. It's just a spot that's just taking up space. And if somebody really needs to park closer, because we live really close to our leases office. So what happens is that I understand some people really need to just park as close as possible to go to the leasing office, which is usually during the business hours. And maybe I might be going through the business hours. Zandra might be going through the business hours. But what happens is that it's like when I do need my spot, I need that person to move. You know, I get it that I do pay for it. I mean, only pay what? We only pay what, 25?
Yeah.
A month, so it's not that much, but still, it's like when I need it. Because the way I park, our apartment's parking spot is just like everything is low key reserved on our little lot, on our little park. All our parking spots are, and you have to park in a visited parking spot. And you can't really park in a visited parking spot unless you, especially if you have like a sticker on your window, your windshield.
Yeah.
So like you gotta park in like a spot that's like it's empty, not reserved. It's just empty until somebody reserved it. It's not promise, you know, that spot gonna be there, especially if it's not reserved. So if you reserve a spot, you really need that spot. Are you gonna be parking low key probably like 2-3 minutes away from your apartment? I mean, that's 2 or 3 minutes don't seem like a lot, but when you walking and you have stuff in your car, and, you know, and you have like things you really need to just get from point A and point B, and you already have to walk from your car to your place. So that's one part of it. But it depends on how far you walk. You know, you might have to walk downstairs from a garage, walk across. You might see people that's weird, drunk. You don't know who you might see. And then you got to still walk to your apartment when you get to your apartment building. So, man, shout out to people that have the reserved parking spot. You going through these problems, man. I feel for you. We all feel for you. Right, Zandra?
Yes, we do.
But I have a question, Zandra.
Uh-huh.
What tea are we drinking today?
Oh, yes. So, if you hear something in the background, it's the hookah. We got the hookah going. But we also are sipping on some black tea. It's lemon, and I don't know how to pronounce that other word. It starts with the E. It's like you something. But maybe we can find like the pronunciation of it. But it's delicious. I mixed that one with the elderberry tea that we have. So we try to, stay healthy, you know what I'm saying? So we got teas that have extra vitamin C in it, to boost our immune system, make sure we're staying strong. It's delicious.
If you have any recommendations, please let us know on some tea. Because we usually just go to our neighborhood Kroger. And if we probably in a random store, probably Walmart, we barely go to Walmart. But if we go to Walmart or HEB and we probably just see something, we probably cop it. So let us know. Even if it's probably you think it's out of right now. If you're in some other city and we don't have your that store, we're in Houston, Texas. So
dude, please do not name any. Listen, if it's only sold in your Food Lion, Publix, Giant, Winn-Dixie, whatever store y'all get, y'all get y'all tea from. If it's specific to your area, we might not be able to get it. Find something universal that we could try.
I have a question though. Do like Dollar Tree, Family Dollar have tea?
I think they do actually. Because they have coffee.
If they do, because usually these big companies like HEB or Kroger, if you don't know what Kroger is or HEB, I mean, especially if you're not in Texas, they're one of the big powerhouses with grocery stores. They like usually like what's their square footage usually like 2,400,
I don't know,
5,000. Pretty much, it varies for there. Sometimes it could be super, so it could have a super in front of it, and it'd be mega store. But but usually those stores have like name brand and their own personal tea. But what would Dollar Tree though? Because they wouldn't have their own personal tea. Would you try it?
Okay, so this is if Dollar Tree and Family Dollar, whatever dollar store, if they had their own generic brand of tea, I probably won't spend my money on that because, in my experience, so I tried the Kroger brand of green tea, and that tea was so light, and like you have to steep it for a long time to get anything out of it. I just ended up putting like multiple bags, like 2 or 3 bags, whenever I would make tea.
But they would come in a pack of like 120, right?
I know, so I thought I was getting a deal. But I mean, it's like you kind of win and then you lose at the same time.
I feel like it's for people that really don't need heavy tea. They just have it just to say they have it, like an office type of setting. Like, would you like some tea or coffee?
Yeah.
But they don't want to
Spend money. I get that because I was in an office where, you know, we would contribute things.
Right.
Like we would take turns bringing a pack of water or something. Oh my God, startup offices.
Share space though, so.
Yeah.
But you've been to places that you also had all that stuff there already.
Ooh, okay. But that was kind of like not good for me because back when I was a video manager for a small publishing company, we used to produce videos for the YouTube channel. They sold almanacs, like industry market research, and put all that information in almanacs and publish new editions every year. So the CEO, he used to create he used to be featured in the videos. We used the green screen and made a whole little studio in this small room that wasn't really a studio. It was just like an office room. But we shot those videos, and but it was so weird. He loved the office quiet because he thought like if it was quiet, then we would get our work done. But I made a good friend there, and we used to try to just like talk because her office was right next to mine. So I had my own office. She had her own office. But then all the writers, like the copywriters and editors and customer support people, they would be like in the main room, and they wouldn't get their own office. But so I was pretty fortunate. But it was kind of boring if we weren't talking to people. So we like sneak to talk to each other. And even the CEO, his wife was like head editor or something. So if he was out of the office at a meeting or something, she would be like managing things. And I don't know. The perks were there was always coffee, there was always tea,
Always sodas.
There was always chips. Like I love kettle chips. So there was like different flavors of kettle chips. And then when it was somebody's birthday, we'd have like a special cake. Like we get like different kinds of cake. But I'm just sitting there snacking and editing videos. Like that's like I'm gaining weight.
Honestly, we do talk about our jobs all the time on the podcast, but she do have a lot of interesting jobs. Like that job she was having all the snacks there, and then one job she had literally a whole bakery at her dispense, like with still soda and tea and coffee. Oh, it was great. The chocolate bar. Shout out to people that know chocolate bar from Houston. It's great. It was in the city for a while, but now they're going through a lot of changes, even changed locations.
Yeah. Well, they still have the chocolate bar location in Rice Village, but the one that I worked at was on West Alabama, and they're trying to move it to actually closer to where we stay now, towards the Galleria. But like they're still gonna get a lot of traffic there, so I mean it won't be bad. But I mean that area was getting bad. Like it had a lot of people breaking into cars, random people walking the street, homeless people coming from like the overpass down towards
But that area is, and I really don't like how Houston does this. Is that so? For example, you would say, if you're listening, close your eyes and think of if you're from Houston, think of that you're from Third Ward. Think of what do you think of, especially what the media passes on in Third Ward. Now, think of like Montrose area. I think of like these places that have the Third Ward. Third Ward is actually striving right now to be a better neighborhood than it was before. They have way more small business there. A lot of stuff to offer. A lot of culture to offer. Not just African American. You have a lot of diversity at Third Ward. But these other places that's also ran down. What's that area again with the chocolate bar on West Alabama? What's that like? Yeah.
It's called.
What is that, like Upper Kirby?
Yeah, because it's not really
like Kirby.
Midtown yet.
Yeah, it's not really Midtown. It's like a couple of streets over and down the way, but it's not really Midtown yet. But
it's between Midtown and like
but
Upper Kirby.
Yeah, but when you think of Kirby though, like Kirby's like, oh man, they got it's Kirby. That's where they the benches and but low key the Upper Kirby area is it's really ghetto. It has a lot of rodents in the area, but what happens is that people,
too.
Yeah, but nobody really live. They live in Midtown, but nobody really lives. And when I say live, I'm talking about actually have a house in that area. Now, I get it on the outside areas. Don't get me wrong. Around the Midtown area, a little bit further out.
And then there's some more established people that have houses there, like.
Yeah, but they're not in the heart where they see the chocolate bar, all those little restaurants right there. That's they city life right there, Yeah. But people actually live in that area, and that area is a lot of rodents, and what happened, rodents and a lot of crime, homeless issues. But they don't really. When you hear about Kirby, you don't really hear about all that stuff. I really never worked over there in my life before Zandra was working over there. I never really was over there. I probably passed by once or twice, but I never really, visit and hung out over there until we worked over there. And then you really realize how crime infested it was.
Yeah.
But they don't push that. So I really don't like it. If that's your city like that too, I just don't like it. Like they make one hood because it's predominantly like another race, and another hood is predominantly race. They don't match up. They don't make them seem like they even. They make it seem
they're like down the street.
Low key. If you really think about it, it's not really because when you driving it seems like that, but when you walking, you walking, you like, man, where is Third Ward is that coming from that Upper Kirby? Because you can really take West Alabama from Upper Kirby all the way to Third Ward. But what happens is that just because it says it's Upper Kirby, just because it's Upper Kirby, it's different. It's in a different light. I don't like that. But chocolate bar was lit with the food. My jobs usually is not that cool. It's pretty much retail, the most part. I only worked at Cadylicious for a few months, and that was not that cool. I mean, I was able to work by myself at the nighttime for like 2 or 3 hours, but then when I find out that people was being held at gunpoint at different stores, like down the street, the owner would tell me that, and they'd be like, "All right, have a good night," and then leave me by myself. But they didn't have no cameras there, no defense.
Like, just be careful, watch out.
You have to walk.
I'm gonna be careful. If I'm by myself, what do I do?
But I'm a real one, so I wasn't scared. But at the end of the day, when you don't have you don't have the heater on you, what I'm saying? What are you supposed to do? You call sniffing, so you can't bring it to work, right?
Yeah.
And then if you leave it in the car and
somebody break in,
what are you gonna do? Wait, I gotta go to Kevin Hart. Wait, let me go to the restroom real quick. Go compartment.
Yo, stand up. Kevin Hart was talking about how he had a gun in like every room.
Oh, you gonna slip it in the restroom? Well, let me go to my toilet tissue one more time. Talk about it. I'm like, yeah, bro. Shout out to Kevin Hart.
Yeah, he making money moves.
Yeah. So
then I think we should talk about what everybody's talking about. Encanto. Encanto.
But what are we not supposed to talk about?
Bruno, no. We don't talk about Bruno.
Yes, that's my low key. That's my favorite song. What's your favorite song from it? You know, they be coming out with the haymakers with these movies with these songs. What's your favorite song?
Okay, my favorite song is actually the one with Louisa, when she was talking about like how much pressure she was under, cause that song jams.
Facts.
I was like, okay, so we were kind of late with watching Encanto because a lot of people it was in the theaters first.
Oh no,
I think it was in the theaters because they made some heavy box office numbers. I think it was in theaters, and then we were waiting for it to come out on Disney Plus because we have Disney Plus,
Right.
and we also didn't want to go to the theater because germs and COVID. But which is why we still have to see Spider-Man. But let's digress from that because we gotta find a way.
Find a way.
Find a way. But yeah, Encanto was beautifully made. I did feel like the plot was a little like short. Like I like the themes that were in the film. Okay, like we've been watching video essays like on YouTube of people like breaking down certain themes. Our dog's snoring. Yeah, we've been watching different video essays about the themes and what other people's thoughts are. At first I was like, that's it. Like I was like, oh, this has got to be more to the plot, but the plot was all in like the people and the family, and I think it was very relatable because people go through the things they go through in their everyday life, and you know all the pressure that they're under with their own family, or they feel like they have to be, you know, their family wants them to be this person, so they have to live up to it, like be the perfect person or be the strongest person, and all the eyes are on you because, or maybe your family is just like well known in your community, and so that's a lot of pressure because you're like, oh, I gotta do something special, because if I don't do nothing special, my family's gonna be putting pressure on me, but also everybody else around me is gonna be putting pressure on me, like, oh, well, what do you do?
Right.
Like if we have a family full of lawyers,
Right.
and you're an artist,
Right.
and you're like, oh well, I don't want to go to law school.
She didn't even have a power.
Yeah.
So even if everybody else was a lawyer, she probably didn't even have you. For your example,
What's her name?
they didn't even have
Marabella?
I
What's
can't
her name?
remember.
I don't know.
But she didn't even have a power. So that's like having a family full of lawyers, and you don't even have a plan of what you doing in college.
Yeah.
That's how it's kind of. One thing about it, and I'm gonna stay solid with my rating, because I really, with these movies, we were watching a video and they were talking about representation from like is it Latin or
Latin representation.
yeah, they was like, and then the guy was talking about the last movie before
Before
Coco.
Coco was it was the dog from Oliver and Company. I think it was the movie that dog was from.
If you're a 90s baby, if you haven't seen the movie, you see
like,
a clip from some type of VH tape. Like it had to be like that's like.
Stop popping. Ooh, 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 the street light.
Yeah.
I was a Disney kid.
She was a Disney kid. Yeah, we But what happens is that my honest rating for the movie Encanto was a solid 7.5. But one thing about it, I feel like the movie it had a lot of bells and whistles, but the message was actually, I feel like the message was actually simple.
Yeah.
If you really think about it. And I say the message is simple because a lot of these representation of movies, animated movies, they're more stuck on the stigma from that culture. Or like think of Mulan. I think of what are your favorite Disney movies? What's the movie with
Princess and the Frog?
Princess and the Frog. Those are stereotypical situations they have in that respective race.
But I think it does come. I, oh, sorry. I think it does come down to how they do their research. I feel like Disney has done a great job of improving how they do the research for
yeah.
it, so that it's not like stereotypes shown in the
But no,
movies.
no, no. That,
Or-
I don't have a problem with showing the stereotypical situations they have in their like family, their household, their their race. Shoes. Even if they come out with a person doesn't have a gender situation, I don't care. It's just the point that I'm trying to say is that usually they have a movie like that if they have if it is about a certain race. They either make a movie about a certain race or they have a fictional character. They make up a fictional character and then they make up a problem, a real problem, or they focus on people race. However, this movie, I think, and I think what happens is this movie is probably the first movie I probably seen from them that the problem is not necessarily all about race with this animation. What is this? Pixar? What is this?
It's Disney.
Disney. So
I don't think it was Pixar. I think it
so
was Disney.
cool. So with Disney, it's like that's what I understand. Like they're definitely trying to move away from, like that video said, the race, the princess, the theme about it. Even though they still was like the big the big family of that village or whatever, they still try to move away from. Well, let's not make this a princess thing or a prince thing. Let's make this more realistically, and that's different because you still have these children that actually still love princess. And I mean, not just children, adults do like these prince and princesses movie. But at the end of the day, what is your message you trying to get across? And I feel like Encanto, if you really watch it over and over, I mean, I see tweets and videos, people watch movie over and focusing on each character.
Yeah.
And then, and if you really think about Bruno, this dude, his power in the movie was seeing in the future. If you haven't seen it, spoilers, sorry, but he could see into the future. But what happened was, in real life, you could tell people like, hey, if you keep eating burgers, you're gonna get fat, and especially if you're not working out. That's not seeing into the future. That's just knowing that, hey, I saw you eat a burger today. I saw you eat a burger yesterday and the day before that. And it's like, it started off with his family hating, but then it was showing how the
People in the
village was showing how they was hated. But I feel like if the family had his back, it would be a little bit different.
I got chills.
And I feel like that's another thing. A lot of families out there don't have each other back. Even if the person, what they doing at the moment, everybody not liking it, if it's not harming anybody. And I feel like they only emphasized on the bad stuff he said. Honestly, I don't know if they ever showed if he said anything positive, because 9 out of 10, if you have a bad experience, you're gonna remember that over a good experience. Over 1,000 good experience. You can have one bad experience. You can remember that bad experience for the rest of your life. Good experience, you probably, depends on what good experience you have. Like if you see your favorite celebrity, that's a good experience. You might gonna remember that. But that's what are the chances, especially if you don't see him at a concert or you just stalk him and follow him to McDonald's. It's a good experience.
Yeah.
But 9 out of 10, if you go to your neighborhood, your restaurant or something like that, you have a good experience. You're like, oh, thank you. And, you go about your day because you're expecting that. But wait till you have a bad experience. But then, like with Bruno, a lot of people been having bad experiences. I'm pretty sure he told some good things. They don't really specify in the movie, but I'm pretty sure he said some good things. And he seemed like a decent character. I just feel like you just need support, and his family didn't support him. But like I said, the movie was 7.5, and the reason why I say 7.5 is like you can really you can actually tell you could tell the way they was going with the movie. You can tell okay, well, especially when I think I was pondering the whole time until they got to the part where all the siblings were having issues. And then once they start having issues, I'm like, okay, that's the problem. I mean, there's multiple problems in the movie, but the main problem was that the people was made, they would lose their powers, and we would try to figure out why, and then come to find out, you know.
Yeah, and I have a comment on that. It was like, one of the themes is that, like, even though Mirabelle, she didn't have, a gift, she wasn't given a gift, a magical gift, but the gift that she did have was being able to speak to people from a place of truth and honesty, be able to express herself how she wanted to. Whereas her other siblings, like Issa and Luisa, they were struggling to keep up this persona that the grandma was like, you gotta make your family proud by using your gifts. But it was like, they were tired of, they were holding all in until like Maribel got to them and was asking them questions and questions. Right. And she could tell, she heard Luisa was like twitching, and like, she saw her twitch when she was like lying and saying everything was okay until that song. And then Issa was the same way. Isabella. She was like mad because she always had to be perfect. And then she realized like, oh, I could create something new. Like whenever she finally told the truth and was honest with Mirabella, whatever they were arguing about at that moment. And then that just changed her whole perspective, her whole outlook. And it's just like, it was powerful because it's like, if you be more of yourself and honest and true to yourself and not live up to what society or your family, whatever pedestal they may have you on, you might be happier. Mm-hmm. So we gotta let one of the dogs out.
I was going to say that I think the root of all the problems in the movie was communication. I feel like communication is very key in just any type of relationship with yourself. Communication is key, if that makes sense. Yeah, because I know sometimes I have to talk to myself and be like, hey, I have to correct myself on this, or like think through things that I could have did better in certain situations. And my relationship with my wife, even with my dogs, I have to make sure our relationship, our communication is clear, so we can understand each other. And a lot of people don't communicate, and they go on because they don't want to disturb the peace. Mm-hmm. Everybody think there's peace when it's quiet, and sometimes to me, these are loudest when these are quiet. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like if you have a kid out there, shout out to all the parents. If you have a kid, everything's fine when you hear your kid, you watching Cocomelon and they laughing. Cocomelon. Yeah. Anyway, you don't know about that. When you have a child, you understand. I don't have a child, but I take care of children. She don't understand. But what I'm trying to say is that when your children start being quiet, you're like, oh snap, what they got into? Oh snap, they hungry. Oh snap, they upset. But people feel like peace is quiet. Peace is not just quiet. Peace is where everybody is happy and can communicate and, explain how they truly feel, and I feel like if you have that, I feel like a lot of situations, a lot of problems not can go away, but people will be more understanding of the situation, and y'all can be, y'all can have some type of respect for each other instead of just like y'all not talking. Well, as long as you saying hi to them, they saying hi to you, and they not in your way, everything's fine. But that's but people have emotions, and still people feel a certain type of way towards you. Just go talk to them, And I feel like if that happened in the movie, a lot of people, like especially with Bruno, nobody really was talking to Bruno. Like literally the song was, we don't talk about Bruno, you know what I'm saying? Like think about it, if they really, let's talk about it, and then talk about it. And he explained himself at the end, right? Yep. It was simple explanations. But what happens is since this dude could just tell you like what he saw, people would just, he was trying to communicate with people. People they hear but they don't listen. You know, sometimes people say, "Well, you gonna gain weight if you eat burgers," but and other people they heard, you know, well, I'm getting fat. But if you actually listen, like, hey, this person's caring about you, or like, you know, maintain, you know, your diet. That's all they try to say. But people like have an open heart and you know, a positive mind when somebody trying to really communicate and open up with you. That's why I feel like if they could do that in that movie, I think all the problems, majority of the problems would have been fixed like that. I mean, this is in real life too. We have family problems too. Shoes, we talk about that every day about our families. I mean, we love all our family, like all our family. But we talk about family, we have problems too, you know, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's real life. I feel like that's a part of what made Encanto so just so good and made it do so well, because it's so relatable on so many levels. Whatever you're going through with your family, with your career, or whatever, with your relationships, with your friends, your friendships in your life. And so yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about it. Well, that's all the time we have for this podcast. But I hope you guys tune in. I'm Ziggy,
I'm Trey.
and this is the Trey and Ziggie podcast. Bye, y'all. See you next week. Well, not see you. I'll hope you tune in. We hope you tune in next week.